strongest?
I don't know that that's strong.
Okay.
It was a little shut down.
Yeah. Let's go back to the very beginning of this whole thing. What do you guys remember about shooting the pilot? When we saw Don't Stop Believing, you know, it ended, the episode ended with that great performance. What do you guys remember about that experience? Because I remember as a viewer seeing that pilot and just thinking, this is so phenomenal.
Yeah.
What do you guys remember?
Well, I remember just being lost. I didn't know what call sheet was.
Yeah.
I walked in so many people's trailers. I was like, is this my trailer? Oh my God, which one's my trailer? I didn't know where I was supposed to be. Like, I kept looking in the camera. I was just lost. I don't even know how I kept this job 6 seasons. Like, I can't say in their minds, I'm just staring at the camera.
I remember shooting the reverse. My company.
Because that her show was on.
Yeah.
That, like,
Yeah, show's not even up.
Yeah.
Certainly not Stefan, you guys forget that. So wait, what was that like?
Amazing balls. I'm from Chicago. It was a big deal. It was a big deal for everybody, but it was kind of nice to go home to God.
Did that feel like a moment that you were I feel like when Oprah stamps you, you're like, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, the president is.
Well, I think we have to also say that all happened in the same weekend.
Yeah. Weekend.
Oh,
So
wow.
we went to the White House and sang. Then I think, didn't we do the World Series?
Oh, yeah.
We sang in the World Series, and
Right.
then we did Oprah.
Oprah Saturday.
So pretty much we
White
thought
House.
the plane was going to crash before we did it.
Like, pretty all downhill from here.
I mean, one of my favorite episodes that first year is the Madonna tribute. I mean, what was that like? Because that also was a moment, I think that was your first tribute, and that sort of was such a big deal because she gave you guys the rights to those songs. Was that a blast? I mean, what do you remember about that?
I remember Jane doing, what's the
Vogue.
Vogue. I remember Jane doing Vogue.
That was Ryan's baby too. He was. We had more rehearsals and pre-production meetings for that number than we probably did before and since. And yeah, that was, I thought, quite a triumph.
How many times did you watch Vogue?
Billions. You know, when I did this dancing, you kept giving me dancing things. Dancing. I remember there was one step that I didn't get until they were rolling the cameras, and it just happened magically, and then not after that. Second or third take, so you got to use what we just shot.
You did a great running man. You did like a running man.
That's the one, man.
Oh, okay.
That was tough. And I did a fake one too. And then you two showed up to me in the bed. You learned that running man thing in like 2.5 seconds. I spent all Christmas break. You guys.
And how was it for the girls who did Express Yourself with like the headset? I love a headset, first of all. And a bustier. How was that? That must have been like so much fun to channel.
We were just talking
Did
about
they do that at like the end of the, wasn't it like mid?
Yeah.
It was like the end of the night.
It was the end of the night. We had done like 5 other musical numbers that day.
I'd never worn a bustier in my life. And tried to dance in one.
You did a good job. You
Yeah.
kind of
did.
nailed it. Yeah.
I feel like we rehearsal like for that the same exact day or something like that.
It was fun.
Yeah, we liked it a lot.
Yeah. Looking back on that first year, are there other things that stand out? Do you have a favorite episode? I mean, do you have a favorite, like another favorite moment?
Season
You know,
1?
Yeah, season 1. Because that was sort of the transformative kind of.
Yeah.
That's when you guys sort of exploded.
I really love Glee.
Yeah.
Oh, the
The
great.
Fleetwood
Fleetwood
Mac.
Mac.
Fleetwood Mac was really great.
That was season 2. Oh, yeah.
Amber.
I told you guys it's one big like.
Yeah, it is.
But I did.
Yeah. Heather, when did they start sort of telling you like that Britney is kind of a big weirdo? Like when did they sort of?
I think she told them.
Okay. Because you were kind of just like, you know, you were a Cheerio and you just sort of started slipping in these little I don't even know what bon mots, like little just like pieces of wisdom. Just like wisdom. Yeah, wisdom. I mean, but did they sit you down and say like, okay, we're gonna kind of make her crazy a little bit?
No, it was like I didn't really say much, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, Ryan came around and saw how quirky I was, I guess, and he was like, okay, yeah, she's I did like a weird impression of what Britney was like, and she was kind of like tone deaf in a way. He was like, okay, she's a little. I'm gonna need a PCA
Okay. And then did they, because you didn't sing at first, and then did you push to sing more, or was that their thing?
I think it was more them. Yeah.
And was that, were you cool with that? Were you nervous about singing?
Yeah, I was so nervous.
Yeah.
I was obviously super nervous about it.
Yeah.
Practicing all the time, but you know, it was a dream.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you do a voice, please?
What?
That you did for record. Please do it.
What song did I sing? I don't remember.
What's that
It was,
name?
do the dog. I think I'm again. Come on and just we actually made Chris a shirt.
Or marked it for my birthday. I was such a fan
A shirt of that.
of her crazy ringing. I should have worn it tonight.
You would like,
Yeah.
Numbers and sing those songs were really amazing.
Yeah. Did you even have to practice them, or were they just like, oh, right there?
They were right there.
Yeah. Is there any hope? There's talk that maybe you guys are doing on Broadway for real. Is that maybe still a possibility?
I would love to. I mean, great. But I'm going to be, working on Scream Queens for a while.
Chris, you got to write an episode of Glee.
Yay!
Is that weird to sort of be on the other side of things? To sort of.
Oh, absolutely. And when they first approached me about it, I said, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. Putting words into my co-star's mouth. But oh my God, it was terrifying. And I just remember wanting to. It was a lot of pressure, and I remember just wanting to kind of go back to old school Glee and show like a group of people that were kind of desperately needing acceptance, and I love old people, so it was but no, it was fantastic. It's not every day you get to fly around the room with June Squibb and Billy D. Williams and Tim Conway.
And, I was really kind of racking my brain, and Darren had been saying to me, like, I really want to write a song for Rachel, I really want to get it into the last episode, and, what would you want it to be about, and, and so that was going on. I was also trying to think, is there anything out there, and then I couldn't think of anything, and Darren wrote this song, and he was like, I wrote it, you have to listen to it. I was like, I really feel like I'm going to get too sad, I can't listen to it right now, but eventually, once it was, like, finalized for the show, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to listen to it, and it was the last song I sang on Glee. It was the last song I recorded in the studio, and there would be no other song that could have perfectly encapsulated the entire experience. Darren honestly gave me the greatest gift, because in that last day, honestly, getting to sing it, and I was there that day, and that was the day I fell to my knees and cried.
What did you take from set? Did you steal things? Did you
Yeah. Everybody, they were swiping stuff, and I went to the proper channel.
I know.
I did get my response. I haven't gotten a response, but I got 3 tracks.
Oh.
I must say, I see Darren and Cord walking with the stuffing from the walls. What are you guys doing? We have studios.
Walk back to your choir for the last time. You see Andrew Mitchell, our very talented Steadicam guy, and Brad Beaker, and they're sitting in there talking, and me and Darren didn't think anybody was going to be in there. So we're just like, hey, what should we do? So we start going to the walls and ripping the stuff.
What? So we were leaving. He literally said, bye, Glee, that was great. And we kind of stop in front of the choir and we go, those walls.
How cool that would be to have in your studio?
It's really nice, actually. So behind the seats, there's this red styrofoam that is meant for sound insulation. So we actually, those aren't cheap. So we squares of it, and they're out in our respective home studios. So it's like this thing of black and just one little red tile.
So here we are on our last day, and the last scene was Matt Morrison singing to the original members of the Glee Club. It was myself, Chris, Amber, Kevin, Jenna, Cord, Darren, Becca. Is that everybody?
Yeah.
And it's this very emotional song he's singing to us, and can't really explain all the details in the scene as to not give it away. And you know, it was emotional. It was an emotional day, and you know, they yelled cut, and that's a wrap on Glee, and we all just fell into this ball sobbing. And then they started playing Freedom by George Michael, which I requested, as to lighten the mood. But you know, and after a little while, I said to Jonathan Groff, who they put there as definitely like to be my handler, I was like, we should go, because you know, definitely make it short and sweet. So I go to say goodbye to Amber, and she's like, oh no, we're not going. We have to go to the auditorium and all have a moment together. I was like, as if it hasn't been hard enough. But we did. We went to the stage, and we sat in a circle.
Completely unplanned, so everybody just kind of went around in a circle and just kind of said, you know, when I left the night, I had like 90 million things I wish I could have said at the same time. At the very moment, we all said things to each other, and it was a really beautiful moment.
And Jonathan cried the hardest. And
I remember looking over to Jenna, and like her and you both together was one of the funniest things I ever.
It is. When you and Jenna cry together, it's really
Jenna cries the hardest.
the sound. He loves the show.
But before we take audience questions, I do, you know, I want to ask if anyone has anything they want to say about Corey, because I know he was, you know, the leader of the show. Chris, do you have a thought or a memory of him that you love? Or?
Oh my gosh, the memories are endless. My favorite thing with Corey was that we always had accidental fun together. And I will never forget, because we always got paired together to do a lot of press things, and we'd always do those crazy radio tours, and I don't know, there's just something very special about when we'd be sitting next to each other and we asked a ridiculous question, and just that look we both have. Okay. But yeah, he was a special, very, very special guy.
He was a wonderful guy. So with that, we're going to go to a question from the Paley app, actually. And this is from Heather Research. She's asking, Glee has helped inspire so many people to be true themselves. How has it changed or inspired your own lives?
My life and my daughter's life. She's 9 and she's been watching since she was 4.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I have a video of she and I doing the poker face that you would think we did. And it's just been so important to us. We came to see the concert tour when you guys were in San Diego. And one of my closest friends was there with us, and she was a Glee as well, and she passed away in September. And she would have given anything to have been here tonight, so if you guys
here,
she's here.
She's here.
My daughter's learned a lot of things about life, homosexuality, you know, things that she needed to know anyway, and it opened a dialogue between us. And she's only 9, but hey, it's life, so. You know, she knows to accept everyone for who they are, and that's greatly due in part to your show, so Vegas at his birthday party at Tao.
Was I a terrible disappointment after all that nice stuff?
I love you so much. You could never be this woman. I love you so much. Thank you.